Israel assassinated 3 sons and 4 grandchildren of Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh on Wednesday. It happened at the Shati refugee camp in the north of the Gaza Strip. Israel says his sons were Hamas operatives and that it targeted a vehicle they were traveling in. This attack comes at a time when ceasefire talks are being held. Speaking to Al Jazeera, Haniyeh said the killings would only strengthen Hamas's resolve. He also said it would have no effect on the group's demands in ceasefire negotiations. Well, to discuss this and the latest developments in Israel's war on Gaza, we're now joined by our senior political analyst, Marwan Bishara. Marwan, what do you make of these latest Israeli actions, the operation in central Gaza on Nuseirat refugee camp, which they say was a targeted operation, the targeted killing of Ismail Haniyeh's family members, as talks are happening in Egypt?
I think they're basically more of the same that we've seen over the past 6 months. It's sort of an Israeli aggression that is continuous, persistent, and totally dismissive of world public opinion, or for that matter, international law and the international community. The fact that it's happening now, of course, adds to the dismissiveness of the Israeli government, that it's just not only not treating this with the seriousness it takes, in fact, humiliating to all the parties that involved in the ceasefire talks, including the United States. So it continues to escalate on all sides, including with Iran in Syria, in Gaza against Hamas and so on and so forth, and makes threats about, Rafah tomorrow, occupying Gaza the next day. We're prepared for all the scenarios, including attacking Iran. Really trying to bring in the United States into a regional configuration, regional war, while at the same time preparing the Israelis for more genocidal attacks and policies and crimes in Gaza. It's a certain arrogance on the part of the Israeli government that is really becoming so reckless at this point in time that one doesn't know where this is going to lead anymore.
Yeah, we are now entering the 7th month of this war, and the fear is that we're entering a new phase of this conflict. Israel, as you said, still threatening to invade Rafah, despite objections from its U.S. ally. If it is a new phase that we're entering, how do you see it shaping up? With the threat of the Iranians, of course, the Israelis also on a war footing there, saying they expect some sort of retaliation from Iran. Where are we headed in this conflict?
About 2 weeks ago, with all the international protests and so many countries speaking out, especially after the attack on the international aid workers, when they should have also spoke about the destruction of Al-Shifa hospital. But be that as it may, we got a sense that with the ceasefire talks and all of that, that maybe the war would be winding down and we would be going towards perhaps 3 stages towards more, a stalemate of sort, leading to some serious diplomatic solution. We were under that impression because the Americans and the Europeans kept pushing for it. We were also under the impression that we're going to be ending famine in Gaza. But then Netanyahu, with his usual arrogance and recklessness, but ever more so today. See, let me open brackets here and just say the following. Why shouldn't he? Right? His personal career is at stake. His ideology and his coalition is at stake. And his political career, not just his personal interests, are at stake. And no one is stopping him.
Not Arabs, the Americans, because the Americans, after the aid workers were killed, they were putting some sort of pressure, but was not real concrete action. Lip service, you think?
It was rhetorical pressure. Some diplomatic juxtapositioning, while selling arms, while committing hundreds more of the 2,000-pound bombs, while committing for 24 more of F-35s, the most sophisticated jet fighters in the American Air Force, while committing more and more and more ammunitions to Israel. So it begs the question, If the Americans are serious in really winding down the war and moving towards a diplomatic solution, why would they then be arming a reckless, arrogant Israeli government that is bent on genocide in Gaza, that would want to attack the southern part of Gaza and want to push Palestinians out of Gaza to the Sinai and so on and so forth? So we're really moving into a new phase 6 months later where we could have started to wind down and end the war. Now, Netanyahu and his ilk are recreating the circumstances for not only another or the continuation of the genocide in Gaza with more of the same policies in the West Bank, but towards regional confrontation. This is truly dangerous because now we know that this is going to continue as is in Gaza. We also know that there could be some serious regional ramifications. These are the known knowns and the known unknowns, as it were. But there's still the unintended consequences and the things that we just don't know about. Right. What is happening in Jordan, what's happening in Lebanon, what's happening throughout the region, who's preparing what, where. Right. So many things could happen.
The real fear now is, of course, that regional escalation that we all feared at the beginning of the conflict in Gaza. Thank you very much, Marwan. Marwan Bishara is our senior political analyst joining us on the News Hour.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.